Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the special County Commission regular meeting for November 1st. We moved it to Friday to avoid conflicts with the election on Tuesday next. And so thank you for adjusting your schedule for that. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Rivera.
Here.
Commissioner Dos are also here. If you would stand and join the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd appreciate it. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, we have 3 public hearings this morning, and so we'll start with the first one. Amendment to the Albany County Design and Construction for Small Wastewater Facilities and Regulations for Permit to Construct, Install, or Modify Small Wastewater Facilities pertaining to the Aquifer Protection Overlay Zone. Would anybody in the room like to speak on or against those amendments?
Chairman Gosar?
Yes.
We would ask that at the close of the public hearing today, rather than closing it, we continue it to our December 17th meeting. We had a request from a local attorney on behalf of clients that was made to provide notice, statutory notice of any changes that were made that require a 45-day notice. And we didn't get that notice sent out for this and also for the APOZ amendments that you're going to look at approving today. So we'd like to just continue, have whatever happens today, and then continue this hearing until December 17th, and then we'll approve those at that meeting. So that we can, that notice was sent out yesterday.
Could you just explain that to me once again? We were supposed to send out notices to other attorneys?
So there's a provision in the statute that allows for anybody who has an interest in any regulatory issues to let us know, and it's we shall provide them notice. We have a notice that was provided in December of 22 that's specifically tailored to anything that pertains to the APOZ. The specific notice, all of our regular notice requirements were met. The specific notice to this particular attorney was not sent out. And so we did send it out Wednesday, and that gives the 45-day period for that attorney until December 16th, and we have a meeting on the 17th. So we just want to ensure we're not going to have any challenges or complaints about lack of notice, and are asking that we just continue this and the approval of both this, and then we'll ask to set a second public hearing, or not a second one, to continue this one until December 17th, and then we'll ask to set another public hearing for the APOZ amendments that are on the agenda from September 3rd that we were going to also approve today, that we will also have a public hearing for those on December 17th.
So we will not be approving or
That is,
moving forward on either of these till December.
yes.
Does it make sense just to remove them from the agenda and move them to December 13th?
We had the public hearing advertised for today.
Okay.
So I would suggest that we allow whatever public hearing comments for anybody who's here today, and then we'll leave it open and just continue it to the 17th. And then when it's time for changes in the agenda, I'll amend those other agenda items.
Okay. And then how long does that notice continue? Does that continue to infinity, or is there a time limit on that notice?
There is not a time limit on the notice, and there's nothing in the statute that says that there's a time limit on the notice. It has to be a timely notice. So we are going to work through the logistics of that within our office to make sure, or to figure out what we need to do to make sure that we don't have notices continuing into perpetuity.
Yeah, that seems like an administrative nightmare, quite honestly.
It did turn into that, yes.
So, okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Jennifer.
yes.
Any other public comments for the amendments to the small wastewater facilities and regulations in the room? All right, how about online? Last call for amendments to the Albany County design and construction for small wastewater facilities and regulations for permit to construct, install, or modify small wastewater facilities pertaining to the Aquifer Protection Overlay Zone. Commissioners, I'd entertain a motion to close that public hearing
So
or
moved. Second.
close it for today, I guess. And continue it
Yep,
to December 13th. Is that the date?
17.
17th. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Next item on the public hearing, amendments to the Albany County zoning resolution creating 2 new residential zoning districts. This will be continued also to the December 7th. Nope.
This one does not have to be. This does not directly affect the APS.
Okay. So I take any comments for or against the amendments to the Albany County zoning resolution creating 2 new residential zoning districts. How about online? Last call for comments to the amendments to the Albany County zoning resolution creating 2 new residential zoning districts. Commissioners, I entertain a motion to close that hearing.
So moved. Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. And the final public hearing this morning, procurement policies and procedures for Albany County. I'd entertain a motion, or excuse me, I'd entertain comments from the room for on or against the procurement policies and procedures for Albany County. How about online? So last call for comments for comments on the procurement policies and procedures for Albany County. Commissioners, I'd entertain a motion to close that public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 4, comments from the public. Is there anybody who would like to make a public comment here in the room, and then we'll go online? There or not. How about online? Any public comments? Commissioners, I entertain a motion to close the public comment.
I move that we close the public comment period. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
That motion carries. 5 disclosures. Commissioner Jones, any disclosures?
No, today I don't believe.
Commissioner Rivera, any
I
disclosures?
have none.
And I have none.
Looking at Bailey.
I don't think so.
We're good.
I have none as well.
What are you gonna do when Bailey's not here?
Considerations and changes on the agenda. Any changes to the agenda other than ones we just discussed? Come on up, Jennifer.
So for the ones we just discussed, commissioners, I would ask that for item number 19, we just change it to, instead of presenting for consideration, for number 19, we have it for set continued public hearing for December 17th. And for item 20, to set a public hearing for December 17th.
And 20.
Yes.
So instead of present for consideration, we would set for continued public hearing December 17th.
Yes.
Amendments for both 19 and 20.
Yes.
Okay.
For my items, sorry, Chairman, Commissioners, there was a typo on my part. So items 14, 15, 16, and 17. Instead of memorandum of understanding, it would be for contract, present for approval contract between those 3 or those 4. Thank you.
Thank you.
14 through 17.
Yes.
Thank you.
So it'd be to approve the contract?
Any other changes on the agenda? All right, item 7, approval of the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. That moves us to page 2, item 8. Discussion on the solar projects for the courthouse and IT buildings. Jake, good morning.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Item number 8 is says a discussion item, and in my letter recommendation, I have a recommendation for an approval, which I'll get there. I prepared a letter recommendation or a letter reviewing these. We put out an RFP for the courthouse and for IT for solar panels for 25 kilowatt on each building. We received 2 proposals, one from Apollo Energies and one from Creative Energies. They did not exactly submit everything that we required in our RFP, but I think that what they didn't submit would not disqualify them in my interpretation. I mean, we could just because they didn't submit it, but I think we can overlook it. And I've enumerated some of the things of the deficiencies. I'm not going to go through them all in here, but the big thing that I would like to note is Creative Energies provided a cost for the IT building and for the courthouse as separate line items, while Apollo Energies only provided one cost with a combined total of $177,000 for both the IT and the courthouse. So I was not able to effectively evaluate the cost of Apollo Energies for the IT building and for the courthouse. But what I did to kind of normalize it and understand the total cost of the project is I took Creative Energies costs and summed those together. And because Creative Energies submitted a Wyoming certificate of residency, we provide a 5% discount for their bid, which put their overall total costs lower than Apollo's cost. And so then based on that, Creative Energies was the low bidder. So I used their information on both the IT and the courthouse to come up with a recommendation of award for the IT building. And on the courthouse project, using what Creative Energies proposal presented, the 20-year cost of that project, if the grants are accepted, would still cost $5,000. And if it's not, then it would cost significantly more. So in my recommendation, I am not recommending to award the courthouse because it doesn't pay for itself. And again, that's my recommendation. You guys get the joy of making the decision. It's just my recommendation. That the IT building is a much more attractive object or option is even if the grants aren't awarded, it still costs $8,500. But if the grants are awarded, then it more than pays for itself. So my recommendations are that we do not do any battery backup on either of the, we don't do battery backup because we have backup generators on both the IT building and the courthouse. It doesn't seem like a smart idea to have a double redundancy in our backup power. And my other recommendation is we don't award the courthouse solar panels. But we provide a notice of an intent to award for the IT building to Creative Energies. And then in that process, there are some deficiencies in their proposal that I need some clarification in and understanding that they are agreeing to what we presented in our proposal that they didn't explicitly agree to, and to understand there was some discrepancies between if the IT building had 3-phase or single phase between the 2 proposals. And I want to clarify that as well. And that basically is my recommendation after reviewing the proposals. So any questions?
Thank you, Jake. Commissioners, any questions?
So, yes, thank you. Jake, so we would have to have the $99,450 for the courthouse panels up front.
in both instances for the IT and I think I'm maybe stepping out of my bounds here, but really, do we have to, we put them in and then we apply for the grants?
So, the way the IRA works is we pay for everything up front, then we submit to the IRA, to get that 30% discount or our money back. The other piece in there, if you look at Creative Energies, who did a really good job of breaking down what we're eligible for. So yeah, the IRA is a 30%, and then there's the low income community bonus, which is an additional 10%. Looking at the maps and everything, we are eligible for it. However, it involves another layer of an application, so they could always deny that. We just don't know. We have to do that application as well. But everything, all the costs are upfront costs. Then we would get things returned. So we're going into this with hopes that we'll get funded. It's not like a normal grant where we apply for the grant, then we know that we can go move forward with the project. It's not like that. It's you do the project, then you put in for this.
Any other questions? Jake, and just, the difference between this exact same project with 3-phase on this building, single phase over there from the Creative Energies perspective. Same solar array, same amount of wattage. The difference in payback period is the difference between 0.04 kilowatt cents per kilowatt hour that's being quoted at the courthouse and 0.08 or 8 cents a kilowatt hour being quoted at IT. And that changes it meaningfully. So
Correct. And so if the numbers that they present are incorrect, I didn't go dig around and verify their numbers, if I wanted to really make an argument to be disingenuous, I could use Apollo's presentation or their proposal. They have a number of, I think it's 0.108 in the payback, and their payback period is like 10 to 12 years on the courthouse.
Right.
But because Creative Energies is the one that are based on the 5%, I threw this one out entirely. I'm not going to mix and match to just, come up with a whitewashed answer, if you will. I want to present what was given to us and evaluate it accordingly. So
yeah,
if those numbers are wrong or right, and the other thing that those numbers don't account for are the escalation of costs in the future. I believe that's today's rate, and in the future, electric rates are going to go up. So we don't know how much that is, but that could offset that a little bit more. But not knowing that and not having that presented in here, I didn't evaluate that.
Yeah. So it was a very conservative number by Creative Energies. So the worst case for me is it costs us $5,000 over 25 years, minus the savings. However, if you were to look at the IT building, it returns 77,000, if I'm to remember their quotes correctly.
Yes, I believe even without if the grants weren't awarded, I think it will only cost 8,500 in 20 years. And we have a lifespan, or we asked them to evaluate 20 years. But if the project extends into 30 years, then at some point it fully pays for itself. But at some point the equipment will begin to fail and it'll have to be replaced. And in 20 years, all of that equipment's going to be a lot more expensive. There's a lot of factors in flux, that will change the math after we get past that 20-year period.
Yes. Yeah, and I think I nerded out, read the warranties on the panels, and they're 20 years.
Yeah.
They'll guarantee those panels for 20 years.
Right, and all of most of the other equipment has a 20-year warranty on it as well.
Okay. Okay. Those are all the questions that I had. And then, thank you, Bailey, for looking that up. I also did look that up. We're in the 10% zone, economic disadvantaged, which could add the 10% that is being proposed in the creative energies bids. Jake, I want to thank you for the detailed letter. I really do appreciate that. That was really well done. Commissioners, I'd entertain a motion.
I think it's just discussion.
Oh, okay.
Well, I would request that, I mean, we can just have discussion. But I would request that we give, if this is something, and maybe I'm overstepping my bounds, but if it is something that we want to pursue, that we give a notice of an intent to award to Creative Energies. We don't have to award it to them, but it gives them a little bit more confidence that we are seriously considering their proposal. Or if you want to just leave it a discussion item, that's what's on the agenda, and we can just call it a discussion item as well. I mean, it's entirely.
Commissioners,
Well, I wouldn't have a problem with giving an intent to award on that IT building only.
Jennifer, can we move it to take action? If it's on the agenda as just a discussion item?
We can amend. Can we?
Well, but I have a question though, then. But you didn't have all of the numbers, so I wouldn't want to.
That is correct. There
I
are
wouldn't
some,
want to make a decision on it without all of the numbers exactly right.
right.
That's just why I was saying intent.
An intent, yes, an intent to award so that Creative Energies knows that we're seriously considering their proposal, and they will be more, and I'm sure they would, even if we don't give them a notice of intent, they would probably provide that information to us, but it provides them a little bit more confidence that we're seriously evaluating the proposal. So, but in any way, either way, if it remains a discussion item or we give them an intent to award, I will still reach out to them either way.
and either way, it's probably gonna have to come back in 2 weeks.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we will have to come
Final
back.
award,
Once I
so-
finalize and get answers to my lingering questions, we will bring it back or an award,
Right.
a decision to award.
Anything else that was initially missing from?
Correct. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Then I'm comfortable with moving to send a letter of intent to Creative Energies.
For the IT in the courthouse. Both, neither.
Would some of those numbers make a difference to you then, Jake, as far as your evaluation of the courthouse?
No, what I am requesting does not have any factors from a cost benefit perspective. It is purely contractual.
I can't imagine we get kilowatt hours at 4 cents. Here, I just can't imagine. I did the average commercial 3-phase in America, and it's 10 cents a kilowatt hour, so it's closer to the Apollo discussion.
And if you want, I can do some more research in that. I can call Rocky Mountain Power.
That would be great, because that
And
changes everything.
It would if it's 10 cents versus 4 cents, that's 6 times the return rate, give or take.
Yeah.
And it changes the math.
Commissioners, would you be amenable just to bringing this back in
Yeah,
in
let's just
2
do that
weeks
once you have
with,
more information.
with more information?
Yes.
Is that all right, Jake? For you?
Do we
That's
need
fine.
a motion for that then, Jake?
No, because it's on the agenda just as discussion, so that's
Okay.
fine.
So we did discuss.
We did
Yes.
discuss. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it. Anything else?
No, sir. That's it.
All right. Item 9, present for approval, agreement to the Albany County Board of Commissioners and the Pilot Hill in the amount of $182,710 for the Pilot Hill Schoolyard Trail Maintenance Project. Bailey and Sarah, I see you in the room. Bailey, good morning. Thank
Good
you.
morning, commissioners.
a few meetings ago, you guys approved the agreement with this Wyoming outdoor recreation department for funding for Pilot Hill. This is just that agreement with Pilot Hill to do that project. And then later on, I believe they'll be going out for bid or take care of their procurements as well. You want to add anything, sir?
No, that's correct. Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions? If not, I entertain a motion for item 9, please.
I move that we approve item 9 is presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Bailey. 10, present for approval grant application to Wyoming State Historic Preservation Office for the certified local government grant for the purpose of the Albany County Historic Preservation Board to complete the National Register of Historic Places District nomination for the Lincoln Monument.
So these next two items are applications from the Historic Preservation Board. So those applications always go through the county. They do all the work, but we have to have the county on that, and the county accepts the funds and everything. So I believe they're here, so I'll let them present the projects.
Casey, good morning. Thank
Good
you.
morning. Hi, so yeah, as Bailey mentioned, I'm the vice chair of the Albany County Historic Preservation Board. We have applied for a grant to get a listing for the National Register of Historic Places for the Lincoln Head Monument on I-80. It's a pretty interesting sculpture that was created in the 1960s by a well-known Wyoming artist, Robert Rustin. So yeah, we applied for a grant, and as Bailey mentioned, we are gonna do the field work. We're going to put out an application for a contractor to do the actual writing of the register, but we will hold public events there and put in-kind hours in to match the grant. Yeah, I'd love to answer any questions. Yeah.
Casey, thank you so much. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, Casey, so, this, well, I guess I'm asking, have you guys spoken to Robin, Russin and the family?
So yeah, so one of our colleagues has been in touch with them, not me personally, but
Okay. And Mary, they're all on board, they're very,
They came
Supportive
to
of
us
this?
over last fall and requested, sorry.
yeah.
So through the Albany County Conservancy, the Russin family approached them to do this nomination. And they're in favor, and I don't remember, it's one of the sons that Anne
Robin.
Brand has been in contact with. And then we also did meet with YDOT executive staff to make sure we had their support. That's why they're providing $1,000 in match. They were all on board about that. And just to be clear, we're only nominating the sculpture itself, not the entire summit rest area. So it'll be restricted to that.
okay. Good, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was my question, Mary, so thank
Okay.
you for answering that.
Right. And the reason why we want a consultant is it's kind of tricky to nominate a piece of art to the National Register. So like when we did the snow train that's by the depot, that's another tricky when you're doing an object. So it's best to get someone who is used to doing those types of nominations so they are smoothly and done. They go.
Mary, so you're telling me that the family initiated this? Because I remember at one of our meetings, Anne Brandt of the Conservancy came forward and presented this. Had they already contacted her about that at that time, or?
I believe so, because I think that's where remember the presentation she made to our board?
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of the information that she had in that came from the family. And then we do know there's a big archive at the American Heritage Center. And as Casey said, it's really interesting because Russin cast this in Mexico City and then had it trucked back with armed guards back to Wyoming to have it placed. And it has been moved, but now it's been in a current location long enough that it's eligible for the National Register.
And they redid some of the base on it.
And YDOT needs to do that again. It needs more maintenance, so that won't affect their ability to
No, I didn't
do
do it.
maintenance,
Just
so.
And kudos to you guys for reaching out to YDOT, especially I think they're giving some money as well. So
Just that
good support.
we don't want the state of Wyoming owns that sculpture. So we need their write-off in order to do that. So we don't want to apply for grants that we can't succeed or we're going to have a lot of objection to. So that's really what that all happened.
So will there be any kind of celebration ceremony, anything like that down the line?
Yeah, we're actually hoping to plan a public event on Lincoln's birthday in February and try to get a lot
Coming
of
up.
people out there. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we'll have a nomination done by February, but we want to have a birthday party, a Lincoln birthday party, some sort of a summit.
Nice. Okay. I think I might have now remember reading that.
And that's how we're going to match the grant. That's why we're not asking the county for any dollar support for this. We want you there at the events, but it's no financial support for this.
Okay. Well, I move that we approve item 10 as presented.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. And then item 11, thank you, Casey. Present for approval, grant application to Wyoming State Historic Preservation Office for the Certified Local Government Grant for the purpose of the Albany County Historic Preservation Board to host this camp training. Mary, please.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. We're planning a one-day training. We're going to contract with the National Association of Preservation Commissioners. And that is a national organization of certified local governments, just like ours. And they provide this technical training. And that's why we're asking to sole source it. They're the only ones that do it. Karen Bard attended the training in Nebraska last spring, and she just raved about how great it was. So that's somewhat why we're following up on this, because we can have it in Laramie. We're planning on having it at the Alice Hardy Stevens Center. And it will be participants, we have to limit it to 30 people, but they will pay for their lunch. That will match all the refreshments and lunch. That helps match the grant, and then their time also, time and travel. But we're going to reach out to all the normal people, the city and county staff that want to attend, Wyoming Main Street, other CLGs in Wyoming, also Nebraska and Northern Colorado. So I can't imagine we won't have 30 people show. And again, I think the main thing is that we need to sole source the amount to the camp staff, and they'll send 3 people to do the 6-hour training.
Thank you, Mary. Commissioners, any questions?
Sounds like fun.
If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 11.
I move that we approve item 11 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
That motion carries. You guys should be commended for your work as a volunteer board, what you've done in the last few years. It's just really amazing. I can't imagine there's a better one in the state. And so thank you for your work. It's really important, and I think appreciated. So
Thank you.
12, present for approval, Wyoming Survey and Analysis Center, WISAC grant application for the fiscal year 22-23 OJJDP Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention non-participating state award in the amount of $50,000 for the funding cycle of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025.
So I'll just give you a quick background, and then I'll let Kurt jump in. This grant used to actually be with VOA up in Sheridan. They have since given it up, and now WISAC has picked it up. It's not something we could have picked up directly from the federal government. So we haven't had it for a couple of years, but now it's back. So I'll let Kurt give you the details of it.
Good morning, Kurt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This grant, if we get the grant, would help fund Big Brothers Big Sisters running of the youth diversion program in Albany County. We're always having funding issues. We get some through CJSB that we pass on to Big Brothers Big Sisters, but staffing is the primary issue, and it's hard to get people and to pay them properly when you get a hold of them these days. So it would be really nice to have this funding back. We lost it a couple of years ago, and it's been painful moving forward. And what Mr. Hammaker does with his staff and the youth diversion program keeps kids out of court and it keeps them from not having criminal histories. I really don't know what we would do without that program as far as juveniles go here. So it would just be very nice to have this funding back, be able to give that to Mr. Hamaker, and let him keep running the diversion program as well as he does.
Thank you, Kurt. Commissioners, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 12.
I move that we approve item 12 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate it. Item 13, present for approval, the procurement policies and procedures for Albany County. Bailey.
Actually, I'm gonna.
Oh, Jennifer. Sorry.
So you have the procurement policies we had. Bailey made some changes. They were all minor edits to things. There's nothing substantial that changed, and we'll make those and get those out. If you have any additional edits, I'm happy to make them, but the only comments I got from anybody were from Bailey.
Commissioners, any questions about the procurement policies and procedures? Not entertain a motion for 13 then, please.
I move that we approve item 13 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Bailey, thank you for updating those. And Jennifer, thank you for updating those. 14, present for approval, contract between the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Albany by and through Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program and Foundations Counseling and Consulting of Wyoming LLC to provide clinical assessments and substance abuse treatment in individuals and group therapy for youth empowerment program participants. Thank you, Heather. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. With our recent award of our OJGDP grant for juvenile drug court program, we are looking to contract with the Foundation's Counseling and Consulting to provide those substance abuse treatment options for our juveniles. This will be paid specifically out of the OJGDP grant, and it would provide services up to 10 youth at a time that have a substance use diagnosis coming through our program.
Commissioners, any questions?
Yes. Heather, where are we now with our numbers for youth?
We currently have 8 in our program. We have had up to 9. We are, that is spread between our IJTP, our drug court program, and the youth empowerment program. I anticipate some changes come January that I'll be back here soon to talk to you guys. But I think we have been able over the last year and a half to really increase the population of youth that we're serving and providing quality treatment as one part of that.
Thanks.
Heather, just a real quick question on this contract. I saw a total amount of like 377,000. That's for the entire, that's not for just this item 14 with.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, so the contract talks about 377,000.
I think it's the wrong contract.
I think
I don't
so.
know
Is it
where
the-
that came from.
Correct, this should be for the $42,000 for the year. I apologize.
Okay. Am I missing it?
It was the ones that she brought over this morning.
Yeah, we just got them.
Okay.
Sorry.
A separate.
I have the
I
correct.
emailed them out this morning. I thought they would.
Okay.
Sorry.
Would you like to take a look at it?
Well, I believe it. I just wanted to make sure that what we were approving.
Thank you for checking.
Yeah.
I did the same thing because I was like,
Yeah.
So it would be for, it's $3,500 a month, to be kept at $42,000 a year.
Okay.
And you might check to see if your name is correct, because I didn't know who Pat Gosar was.
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I'll fix it.
No, that's good there. Got rid of Pat.
I think that other one was an old
Yeah.
draft that had some errors in it, but
It's okay that you have this stuff correct.
yes, I have to have that back.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Perfect. Commissioners, any other questions?
Oh, dude, okay.
But the one that was with the agenda item was that one. That's why I'm asking that.
Thank you, sorry about that.
You bet. If there are no further questions, I entertain a motion for item 14 then.
I move that we approve the contract in item 14 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 15, present for approval, contract between the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Albany by and through Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program and Foundations Counseling and Consulting of Wyoming LLC to provide clinical assessments and substance abuse treatment and individual and group therapy for integrated juvenile treatment program and support and integration program participants. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. So this is the second half of our treatment contract. This is specifically for our integrated juvenile treatment program. Participants and our support and integration participants. Juveniles that come in under the specific court supervised treatment drug court program, as well as the reentry program we have working with youth coming out of residential treatment. This grant would be paid out of our state, this contract would be paid out of our state grant and budgeted in. And this one is for $4,000 a month, so capped at $48,000 for the year.
Commissioners, any questions? And that is not in my packet either.
No.
These were all
presented.
sent this morning, so the contract that I don't know got attached is the state contract.
Contract, yeah.
Heather might have sent with everything, I don't.
No, I think it's a further down item.
Okay. Okay, as long as we have all of the correct contracts.
All these
These
have
ones already
the grant
approved.
James.
I didn't have
I
those.
don't-
They were just in,
I don't
I saw
know.
them
I
in
don't
the
know.
agenda. I don't know where they came from.
But these, yeah, the state contract was approved back in June.
Yeah.
I could ask Cammy, but I don't know.
Okay, so the 4,000, 48,000, or, looks like we're talking with, Foundations Counseling Consulting of Wyoming LLC.
Yes.
Commissioners, any other questions? Not entertain a motion for 15.
I move that we approve the contract in item 15 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 16, present for approval, contract between the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Albany by and through Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program and Corman Law LLC for attorney services to integrated juvenile treatment program and support and integration program participants. Heather, please.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. Historically, we have had Patty Bennett provide defense services for our participants in IJTP, our juvenile drug court. Due to obligations of her time, she did pull back and exit that contract that we had. Was able to secure services with David Corman through his private practice. And so this and the next contract will be to essentially kind of swap out those contracts. He would be earning $250 a month for the IJTP defense services.
Thank you, Heather. Commissioners, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for 16, please.
I move that we approve the contract as presented on item 16.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. And 17, looks like this is the last one for you, Heather, maybe, huh?
One more.
Okay. Present for approval, contract between the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Albany by and through Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program and Corman Law LLC for attorney services for youth empowerment and program participants.
Thank you. This is the other half of that contract for our youth empowerment. It's kind of the diversion on steroids program that we offer. That covers the treatment options for juveniles in the criminal justice system. And then this is for the defense services for Mr. Corman, which has been identified by state and national drug court programs as being very important that we have defense on our team.
Thank you, Heather. Commissioners, any questions, please? If not, I entertain a motion for 17.
I move that we approve the contract for item 17 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Finally, 18, present for approval memorandum of understanding between the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Albany by and through the Albany County Sheriff's Office and the Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program for law enforcement services. Heather, please.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. This is a renewal of our MOU with the Sheriff's Office to have deputies as part of our drug court team. We have a deputy assigned on our adult program, and we have a deputy assigned to our juvenile program. We're up and running. It has been nice the last few weeks having a representative on both. Couple modifications to this MOU from the last one. We did increase the monthly amount up to $2,000 a month to pay for overtime for deputies to be part of our programs. Excuse me. They have also agreed to help assist us with doing some home visits with our adult participants. And so I talked to Sheriff, he signed off on that, and here we are presenting the MOU.
Thank you, Heather. Commissioners, any questions? Not, I take a motion for item 18, please.
I really approve the memorandum of understanding on item 18 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
19, present or set for continued public hearing for December 17th, amendments to the Albany County Design and Construction Standards for small wastewater facilities and regulations for permit to construct, install, or modify small wastewater facilities pertaining to the Aquifer Protection Overlay Zone. David, good morning.
Good morning. So we're already in the process of doing all these things. Everything's on the website, so I'm hoping this is the last time, so.
Commissioners, any questions?
I do have a question. David, we received a email, a comment from someone who was concerned that this was sort of a mandate to change out all waste systems, solid waste systems and all. This is only for those that are needing to be replaced, not any kind of statement as far as creating a regulation that everybody who has a system right now have to change it out to meet this.
That is correct. What is proposed is for new systems only and in the Aquifer Protection Overlay Zone.
Right.
I had a phone call the other day similar to that, but they thought it was across the county, which is not true. So it's
And
just
it's not
within the Aquifer.
across all of them, even over the APOS. It's those
Yes.
that are needing either new or replaced.
Right, it'll be new systems only. So if there's a replacement system, then it wouldn't require, it'll still require engineering, but won't be required to be in advanced treatment unit.
Okay, thank you.
That's what's being proposed at least.
Thank you, David. Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 19.
I move that we continue the public hearing on the amendments to the Albany County Design and Construction Standards for small wastewater facilities and regulations for permit to construct, install, or modify small wastewater facilities pertaining to the protection overlay zone till up to December 17th, 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 20, present for consideration amendments to Albany County zoning resolution, aquifer protection overlay zone, and this should also be, set for continued public hearing December 17th. Amendments to the Albany County zoning resolution, aquifer protection overlay zone. David.
Yeah, so this is in the same situation. We actually held a public hearing on this one in September. And we'll be publishing another public hearing. We'll do both of them on the 17th. So, and again, this information is all on the website and is available to the public today. So we're getting it published as well in the paper. So.
Thank you, David. Commissioners, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 20, please.
I move that we continue the public, was it continuing the public hearing again or?
Yes, set a public hearing.
Set a public, I move that we set a public hearing for item 20 for December 17th, 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. 21, present for consideration amendments to the Albany County zoning resolution creating 2 new residential zoning districts. Joe, good morning.
Morning, commissioners. Yeah, so planning and zoning directed staff to kind of split up the rural residential zoning district into a total of 3 districts. So that's what we did. So these add 2 new zoning districts named agricultural, residential, and ranchette. It shrinks the scope of rural residential, adds the new zoning districts to the land use table, and allows the same land uses as the current rural residential zoning district. Amends the sign regulations by adding the new zoning districts to the residential districts, amends the accessory dwelling standards to include the 2 new zoning districts, and amends the zoning map to make all current rural residential zone properties to ranchette. And the Planning and Zoning Commission has recommended the approval of the amendments to the Albany County zoning resolution that will create 2 new additional residential zoning districts.
Thank you, Joe. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, no, just to clarify, Joe, this is not changing anyone's zoning at this time.
It changes everyone called rural residential to ranchette, but it allows the exact same things as it currently does. It allows this, if they want to do a subdivision in that zone, it allows the same 2 acre minimum, 5 acre average. So that didn't change, just the name really.
And it gives us, Joe, something between that and agriculture, which we don't have anything.
Right. So I guess that's the main reason for it is people would want to subdivide their agricultural lot into say like 20 acre lots. But you can't just go off someone's word. And so the next zone would allow for a 2 acre minimum, and planning and zoning wasn't ready to make that jump to go from 35 acres to possibly 2 acres. So.
Yeah, and we routinely have done that in my tenure, have added another dwelling to an agriculture and had to do a line boundary.
Right.
And this just makes it a more streamlined process.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. No further questions. I entertain a motion for 21, please.
I move that we approve item 21 as presented.
Second, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign, please.
Nay.
That motion carries. Thank you, Joe. Item 22, present for approval 2024 wellness contract between Albany County, Wyoming and Wyoming Health Fairs. Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning again, commissioners. This is the contract with health fairs for the blood draws that the county pays for at the county's health fair, which the health insurance management team has put together for your consideration.
Commissioners, any questions? Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you to the health management team for putting this together. I look forward to working on this for the next year as we try to individualize blood draws for people so that it makes sense. Standardized blood draws for large populations, as I'm becoming aware, are particularly useful, more individualized plans for people make a lot of sense health-wise. But thank you for this, and I appreciate the budget. I entertain a motion for item 22 if there are no other questions.
I move we approve item 22 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 23, present for approval letter of support to the Environmental Protection Agency on behalf of the City of Laramie's application for the solid waste infrastructure for recycling grant program. Jennifer, please.
Good morning. So this is, as it says, a letter of support. The city is applying for a recycling grant to add the ability to do commercial recycling and provide some bins. I don't know what their terms are to be able to do that, but it's a grant that's funded by the EPA. So it's just a letter of support saying if they get that grant, that's always beneficial to the county, the citizens of the county, to have more options for recycling.
Commissioners, any questions?
If they keep them out there.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I can't even tell you where they're thinking about putting them, but
We train everybody to do stuff and then they take it away.
If there are no further questions, I entertain a motion for 23, please.
I move that we approve item 23 as presented.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. And 24, present for approval, First Amendment to the road use agreement with Boswell Wind LLC for Albany County Road utilized for the wind project. Jennifer, please.
so for Boswell Wind, which is in the north part of the county, their haul route is on Fetterman Road. And we had a standard in there for the widening of Fetterman Road. There are certain areas within Fetterman Road that can't be widened because they're on BLM, because there's riparian areas. All of them are detailed in that attachment. So this amendment is to amend those and then to provide the certification once the road construction is done from the county that it's been done and there are no lingering issues.
Commissioners, any questions? And Jennifer, I know, but I'll just state it out loud. You did this in concert with Rob at the
Oh, yes.
Road and Bridge. So, okay.
Yes.
I'd entertain a motion for item 24, please.
I move that we approve item 24 as presented.
second,
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
aye,
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Jennifer. 25, discussion on the budget for the Albany County Property Tax Refund Program. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is solely a discussion item. I just want to point that out because, to amend the budget, we need to do advertising and a public hearing and those types of things. And there was not enough time to prepare that before today's meeting. So I want to give you an update on the property tax refund program. I got to give big shout out and kudos to my staff. We kept a list of everybody who applied for the state program through our office. And if they look like they would be eligible, because we didn't know if this program was going to be approved yet at that time, but it looked like they were going to be eligible for the county program, we called everyone. We emailed them. We sent them letters. I went on the radio. I got the newspaper to do an article, and all of this granted us 277 applications, which is a huge increase from our 59 that we received last year. I have my amazing staff. They're going through, double checking that all the documentation that's required for our rules is enclosed with each application. And they're also checking the asset test of their assets being under $156,900. At the point of writing this and submitting this to you, they had reviewed 154 applications, of which 148 were eligible. And that current total we know for sure is eligible is $114,480.32. During the budget year, we provided a generous amount of $160,000 at the onset. You guys asked me if I needed more. We had no idea we would need more, but we need more. So the remaining number of applications to be reviewed is 123. And we just calculated if they would receive the max allowable under our plan of $1,062 and I think 55 cents. We would need an additional we'd be approving an additional $130,693.65, which would need a total of $245,175. Deducting that current budget amount of 160, I would like to see if your intent would be to grant my office an additional $85,174 to pay these folks out that obviously are worthy and needy of the money. If your intention is to not desire to amend the budget or increase the budget for these. I guess I would like to know what your direction would be. Whether it would be to prorate it and reduce everybody, which I don't know that I want to do that, but.
Tracy, this would be the most that there would be, because you
Yeah.
still need to review the remaining 123.
Correct.
There may be some that are not eligible.
Correct. And they might not get the maximum because they also got money from the state program. And I have identified, during budget, of course, we know that I have to estimate the cash on hand. I estimated it at 4.4 million. We had the actual ending cash of about 5.4 million. So it's just shy of $1 million of excess cash on hand that we could appropriate toward this as well. So that's my thoughts. And if you choose to amend the budget, I'll work with Kayla on preparing that amendment process.
Would this be something that the SLRF or whatever that word does be available for? Because I know that money has to be dedicated by the end of December, I believe.
We already have majority of it obligated. And then we have the 2 projects that are out for RFP right now that will use up the rest of it. So
Okay,
there is nothing left that we have to obligate at this point.
perfect. I don't have to, I will not have to pay attention to those emails anymore. That says, you don't have to use it or it goes back.
Just ignore them.
Yeah, okay.
No, those will be taken care of.
So, like I said, I'm looking for direction today before we start processing 277 or whatever the number ends up being, I guess, of the vouchers. We're going to work with probably Kayla's office to probably do all the entry, because Amanda will also be having, or Bailey and Brady will be doing, election judge vouchers at the same time. So that's a huge increase of workload.
Yeah.
So we would be happy to take on the entry of those.
I think that since you solicited this,
Yeah.
we need to pay for it.
Right.
Well, I also feel that if they are eligible, we need to pay for it. And I think this is what good governance looks like. And so I want to really thank you and your staff for going above and beyond, right? This county has led in this, as far as I'm concerned, and it doesn't have the deepest pockets. And so thank you. I mean, you'll get a yes vote from me on this, and we'll figure out how to put it into the budget or take it from the budget so that you have what you need.
I appreciate that. I can only take credit for being like the face of it, going on the radio and
Well, you
the
Just
newspaper.
not short of.
But what you're doing is providing a community service.
Yeah.
And I think that's very.
But it's all my staff. I have such an amazing group up there that they will jump in and take charge, and I couldn't have done any of this without them, and I can't do moving forward without them. So all the credit really needs to go to them.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Tracy.
Well, thank them for it.
I
Do you have what you need?
do.
Okay.
Direction is, you're
Yes.
gonna give me money.
Yep. We're gonna make a budget amendment, I'm guessing. All right. Item 26, present for approval, application for catering permit for Altitude Chop House and Brewery for the Wolf Ranch Event Space Ribbon Cutting Business After Hours held at 142 Vista Grand Way, Laramie, Wyoming on November 20th, 2024 from 4:30 to 9 p.m. Kayla, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I have an application for a catering permit for Altitude. The letter from the city for them to use their license in the county will be on the city council meeting on Tuesday night. So everything else is in order. I don't think they need it till the 20th, so we're good on time. So.
Commissioners, any questions for Kayla? Not entertain a motion for 26, please.
I move that we approve item 26 is presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 27, present for approval, application for catering permit for Delancey Enterprises LLC doing business as Hell on Wheels Packaged Liquors for the Band in the Sand at the UW Hanson Arena held at 470 Highway 230, Laramie, Wyoming on November 20, 2024 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Kayla.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this is a catering permit application for Delancey Enterprises. They are a liquor license holder out of Laramie County. We do have a letter from the Laramie County Clerk's Office on behalf of the commissioners there, allowing them to use their license here in Albany County. I did get notice from Cindy Delancey, they weren't sure if the event was gonna go forward, but I haven't heard from her this morning, so we're gonna move forward with it. Everything is in order.
If there's any questions for 27. If not, I'd entertain a motion for 27.
I move that we approve item 27 is presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 28, approve vouchers for October 2024. I entertain a motion, please.
And that we approve the vouchers for October 2024. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Before we leave, Terry would like to express our condolences at the commission and for the staff, the county, the loss and passing of your husband. I know it's a difficult time, but you are in our thoughts. So thank you for being here. Appreciate it. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing